Okay, once again, welcome to all of you in the embedded system workshop. This is a purely learning based session for all of you. As per my commitment, there will be no sales, no promotion, no marketing in this complete session till the very end. This is a pure learning session just dedicated to skill development for industry ready. So be very, very focused in the complete session and do engage with all the questions will be asked to all of you, and no one will be supposed to judge you here. So be very, very authentic, all of you. So welcome once again. Let's start. I want all of you to answer a very simple question. Do you know what is embedded system? Quickly answer in the chat box. What is embedded system? I want all of you to answer the question. What is embedded system? Do you know? So yes, I'll get the answer. Completion of hardware and software, specific task, hardware and software, electronic system. Great, great, great. Software, hardware, software, hardware. Okay, okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. A device designed for specific tasks which include software and hardware. A very perfect statement. A dedicated device to perform a specific task. That is a combination of both hardware and software. So the complete clearance of embedded system, it is designed for a specific task, right? Definitely it would be a combination of both hardware and software, right? So all the machines, all the equipments you are being used on daily basis comes under the category of embedded system, right? But VLSI is the stream where students just design the chips and all. But the direct consumer product, the keyword is consumer product, is being comes under the category of embedded system. All of the equipments, electronic equipments in your household is being categorized in embedded system, right? So in this workshop, we will just take the certain knowledge to apply in real skills. We are not supposed to complete the theoretical class here, right? We just take certain amount of knowledge about embedded system that would be help to deploy in real life or in hands-on, right? So my question is how smart devices think, right? How does a smartwatch know you are walking? Can anybody tell me how a smartwatch know you are walking? Or how does a car know an obstacle is just behind? You know, a parking, when you park a car, when there is an obstacle behind, your car just quickly recognize, right? Similarly, how does a fingerprint lock recognize you? Yeah, this is the right authorized person. So your smartphone or any other lock will be supposed to open. So these three questions are aligned in same aspect. Great, great. Receiving the response as like sensors. Perfect, perfect. So the baseline here is the sensor which recognize your fingerprint or your car sensor or your smartwatch or your smartphone, everything, right? So the very first unit of any machine is the sensor, right? Now, you'll all get the answer. Machine cannot see, hear, or feel like human beings. So how they understand the environment? By the very first unit, which is sensors. Now, can anybody explain the working of sensor? What is the fundamental working of sensor? Your body is an embedded system. You can clearly understand in very quick what is embedded system. It is purely aligned with the human body. Your microcontroller is your human brain. Sensors is your all the five sense organ that a human body consists. And output is the response which will be created by either embedded system or a human body. Now quickly tell me which in terms of human body and in terms of an embedded system comes under the category of output. You will create a response by the output device. So in human body or in embedded system, what lies under the category of output respondent devices? Quickly. Microcontroller, microprocessor, sensors, quickly. I want to ask you what comes under the category of output section. So the answer is in embedded system, the motors and actuators are the one which will supposed to complete the task given by controller as an output device, right? And in human body, your hands, your legs, your sensory motors, your neurons, that will create an output action, right? The reflex action, if you have studied in the biology, right? Your hands and legs are the main parts which will perform the action as an output, right? So output device is very, very clear to you. In embedded system, it is motor and actuators, whereas in human body, these are hands and legs, right? So these are sensors that you can clear with your analogy of human body. Eyes, again, camera-like sensor. Mic is your ear sensor, and skin, temperature and gesture, right? So human brain is just simple like a microcontroller that will be a decision-making device. You are not supposed to remember more than that, because in interviews, no one will be supposed to ask you what is microcontroller. The only thing you know is the decision-making device, none other than that. So the complete mapping is here with alignment of human body. All the sense organs in human body is just aligned with the sensor, and your brain is the main decision-making device. Whereas the communication part is being carried on by nerves. You all know it's very, very clear. The signals from the brain will received or given as a response by the communication nerves, right? And your hands and muscles we have already discussed are the output devices. But the very beauty is they reflect action. That is the very important task. That is interrupt. We will be supposed to clear later on in this session, right? Now, my next question to all of you. In the complete mapping, just quickly answer the question. All of you supposed to tell me the answer is sensor, the very first unit which will be directly in contact of environment, whether it is a case of your fingerprint or your car or your smartphone or your smartwatch. Now, can you tell me how sensors work? If you are supposed to answer this question, then you will be clearly utilize sensor in an application. You will use your skills to apply sensor. So anybody can answer quickly. What are the basic working principle behind the sensors? Anybody quickly? Yeah, I'm getting the responses. Sensors feel, sensors behave like a human brain. No, not human brain. It's not like human brain. Sensors are not like human brain. Definitely, they are the very first unit in the human body. Okay, sensor receive data in the form of signals. Through voltage supply sensor, sensor take the input in the form of signal. What is signal? Define signal quickly. You are supposed to just utilize the signal in your application. Input received from environment. With what kind of input? What is the exact terms? You are the engineer. You are supposed to build a new system, right? All the devices in your household will be supposed to build by you as an embedded engineer. That is the pure skill. So you have to be very, very particular with your answer. Fetching data, then work on it, then give data to microcontroller. That is the complete part. I am talking the principle behind sensor. Quickly. What is the working principle behind the sensors? You have all gone through the study in your curriculum. I want to clear. Now I'll get an answer from student. Electrical signal. Dear, more specific. Go more specific. Input received from environment and gives an output. That is the path. Dear, that is the path. One student, I received a response that is electrical signal. Very perfect. But I need more specific answer. Input can be in the form of light that is used LDR sensor, which are converted into waves and electrical signal. Dear, this is very particular answer for a particular sensor. I am talking about generalized sensors, right? Okay. So it is very, very important to clear the basic principle behind sensors. Let's clear it first. Then we will move forward, because it is very, very important to cover such a crucial part here. Okay, perfect. See, all the sensors in today's world, everything you are supposed to come across, like your PIR sensor, phone fingerprint sensor, human body sensor, gas sensor, pressure sensor, load sensor, strength sensor, lots of sensors will be supposed to come in the market, right? But the basic principle of any or every sensor is very, very simple. The electrical signal, right? You must understand the basic principle of working behind any of the sensor. Any sensor in this particular world is electrical signal. One of the students tell us, but just go more specific. V is equal to IR is the Ohm's law. We come across, every of the student come across the Ohm's law. Now listen very, very carefully. Voltage and current with the help of resistance, none other than that. In this whole world, any or every sensor will supposed to convert their data in terms of either voltage or current. Just mark my statement with very, very consistent focus. In this world, every sensor will be supposed to convert their data in terms of either voltage or current. Can you tell me a sensor that gives output in terms of voltage or in current? I have a question for all of you. Can you tell me any of the sensor that gives their output apart from voltage or current? is there any sensor which gives the output apart from voltage or current? Quickly. Exactly. Detect a physical change that convert into a signal, finally a signal to a system. Great. LVDT. My dear LVDT, this is a sensor that is supposed to measure the distance. Pressure sensor, load sensor, PIR sensor, your fingerprint sensor, right? All these convert their data in terms of either voltage or current, right? Your temperature sensor. I'll explain you the basic principle so that things will be very, very clear to all of you. Just took an example of temperature sensor. You know, a temperature sensor is made up of a material, right? When the heat comes and comes in the contact of the material of temperature sensor, the resistance will supposed to get vary. The sensor's resistance will supposed to get the vary. And you know the equation, very perfect equation, V is equal to IR. When the resistance will supposed to get vary, the voltage and current will supposed to get change in respect to resistance. And that is how your current will get changed. And the change of current is supposed to utilize by your microcontroller, right? And that will make your decision. Yes, temperature is 30-degree, clear. Yes, temperature is 50-degree, clear. So the basic working principle behind is voltage and current. So sensors are the device that convert any physical quantity in terms of either voltage or current. Now, very beautifully aligned quickly. You have five sense organs, right? Tell me, eyes, nose, and all of these. So, eyes, visibility, nose, your smell, right? Taste, feel, gesture, temperature. All these different sense organs. Visibility is by camera. Smell is the gas sensor. Taste, again, a kind of pH sensor. Feel is again temperature sensor. All these sensors will take data from the external environment in your human body. I'm talking about your body, right? And then convert them into a signal. And that signal will be supposed to pass on the to the brain by the nerves. So same concept is being aligned here as like human body, right? All the signals will be supposed to convert their data to microcontroller or human brain just in terms of voltage and current. None other than voltage and current will supposed to measure by microcontroller. So please tell me, is it clear to all of you the basic principle behind this working of sensor? Everything will be supposed to convert it in either voltage or current. Quickly, ultrasonic sensor, LIDAR. My dear, every sensor in this whole world will be supposed to convert their data in terms of voltage or current. And the voltage and current is being supposed to understand by your microcontroller. That we will come across in just few minutes. Right. So this is the very first thing you have to be very, very clear. Unless you won't know the principle, the conversion of every sensor in terms of voltage or current, how you will supposed to interface sensor. Try to understand. I am supposed to give you a task just to interface a sensor in your smartphone. And I give you a task, right? How do you interface unless you don't know how the fingerprint sensor, the touch sensor being work? Unless you don't know the working, you are not supposed to interface it with the microcontroller, right? Okay, so let's move further. Machines only understand electricity. That is the thing which we will supposed to clear you. Every sensor you can see very, very clearly onto the screen. Heat, pressure, motion, touch, everything will be converted into either voltage or current because your microcontroller never understand until or unless then voltage or current. Now, anybody can tell me a question. Simple. Which language is being understood by microcontroller. We will very clear till here. The microcontroller can only understand voltage and current, but the language behind it, what is the language which is being supposed to for use for communication by microcontroller? Like we use Hindi, English, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, right? So which language is being used by microcontroller? No, no, very clear. No, not embedded C, not C++, not C language, not C plus assembly. No, not assembly. Quickly answer the question. C++, no. Okay, I'll give you a hint. No C, C++, Java, Python, nothing will be get understand by microcontroller. Aryan and Daksh, very perfect. The only thing which is understand by the microcontroller is 0 and 1, none other than that. So what is the purpose of C, C++ or assembly? Now tell me, if you are very correct. Microcontroller can only understand binary or 0, 1. Binary is supposed to 0 or 1, nah? None other than that. So what is the purpose of C, C++, Python, Java, assembly? What is the purpose? Quickly. What is the objectives of this session? Wow, very good. My dear all students, this is the very specific session to make the foundation of embedded system very clear to you, so that in the near future you can clearly come across the hands-on, the real skills that would be supposed to be used by the industry. The purpose today is not a deep theory, just to align the amount of foundational knowledge that will be used for your application when you apply in real world, right? Human understandable high language level language programming. Okay, let's clear, very clear. See, there is a term called IDE, Integrated Development Environment, right? So basically, two things you have to be understand very clear, right? First is your microcontroller that will be supposed to understand none other than 0 and 1. And second is your instruction that will be supposed to write by you as an electronics engineer, that what you will supposed to design a behavior for your machine, that will be written in C, C++, assembly, any of the language, right? So the purpose of these language is for you, okay, and that would be converted for microcontroller in terms of either 0 or 1, because this is the only thing microcontroller can understand, right? None other than that. Now the beauty is, you have all studied in your curriculum microcontroller or digital understand only 0 and 1, but how you will make microcontroller to understand this 0 and 1? That is the task, that is the definition of real skills, right? That comes across. A machine cannot understand temperature directly. So how can it understand temperature? I'll explain you. Temperature sensor gives an electrical signal. And what is the path? I'll tell you just in very recent. What is the path of temperature sensor? Temperature means heat. Heat as put on the sensor, its resistance gets changed. Okay. And as resistance change, it will clearly affect the current. And current is being measured by your microcontroller. Is it clear to everyone the path? Heat changes the resistance of temperature sensor, and that will respectively change current, and that is being measured by controller. Now the beautiful question here comes across, how current measured by microcontroller? Okay, that will be discussed just quickly in few minutes. How current is being measured by the microcontroller? Okay, Same with your fingerprint sensor. The electrical pattern will be generated, right? Now you will be very, very clear with voltage and current being converted by every of the sensors, right? So sensors are the bridge between real world and electronics. You can see real world gives signal by sensors to your main heart microcontroller, right? Let's move further. So this is the complete path. You will now understand the completion in terms of the whole embedded system life cycle. Environment gives a signal, and that would be converted by your sensor for microcontroller. Now I have a question for all of you. How sensor signal will be converted for microcontroller, right? As we have discussed now, the current is being understand or make usable for microcontroller, but how that is being processed further by microcontroller and give the decision making? Yes, this is the right person whose fingerprint is being detected. So please allow your phone as an output to open the lock, right? The fingerprint, the study is being revealed here. So is it clear to all of you the design cycle? Sensors convert signal for controller and controller process them depending upon what? Now tell me, how does controller process the incoming and makes the output decision? How? On what factor does the microcontroller makes the decision? Quickly. Signal pattern. On what factor the microcontroller make decision for the device? The answer is very, very simple. Microcontroller makes the decision depending upon the behavior you have designed as an engineer. See, for any of the machines, you have to write a code. And what is code? The basic behavior, right? The behavior is being designed by the engineer. Now, like washing machine is supposed to rotate the motor to wash the clothes, right? Smartphone is used to carry lots of tasks, right? Television is being supposed to carry their tasks. So all of these being tasks are performed as a behavior depending upon the code as an engineer you have written in the microcontroller, right? So this is how every embedded system in this whole world works. This is basically the main design life cycle of embedded system to detect environment, process it, and makes their decision as an output, right? Every device, same with the smartwatch, same with your car, the signal is being converted by sensors and processing is being done by the microcontroller depending upon the code you are written over there. And finally, decision making will be carried on by output device. And you are very clear with the output devices, right? Okay. Same with the washing machine. Same with the washing machine. Your water level is being detected by the level sensor, right? Level sensor detects the amount of water. Then timer comes into the picture again for microcontroller to make the decision. And then finally your motor is being rotated as a final output device to wash the clothes, right? Every smart device follow the same pattern. Now, this is the purpose of session to make you clear. Unless you won't know how you can apply. So, my dear all students, the purpose of this session is to just provide you the certain amount of knowledge that would be used by you to apply on real hands-on. I am not supposed to here give you a long derivation theory, nothing. I will not going to teach you anything that will be a boring theory. This is the purpose, a very limited amount of knowledge because industry never respect your knowledge. Yes, you are hearing very, very clear to me. Industry never respect to your knowledge. Industry pay you high package for your application knowledge, the knowledge that you are capable to apply, because the amount will be given to you is for application, not for your examination marks, not for how you will answer question to your viva or your semester examination, right? So be very, very focused here. This is the complete path. Sensor sends the signal that would be convert for microcontroller, and then processing is being carried on by microcontroller. How? Depending upon the code you have written on the controller. And then the beautiful decision is being carried on by the output devices such as motor and actuator. Now, the very perfect question is being still answered by you. I want to ask how sensors data will be made in suitable form for microcontroller. No one has answered till. And I will supposed to answer this particular question in coming future. Right.